Hello again! Amy from Adventure Box here, back with another tutorial. And this one is part 2 of the new Maker introduction. I mean, it's just a thing that happens sometimes. You decide to remake your old videos because you kinda hate how sloppily edited, painfully unfunny and just all around bad they are now, and then the new one becomes obsolete. Though knowing me, I'll feel the same way about these videos in a little while as well, so that doesn't necessarily say anything. But that's a good thing. Our dev team has worked really hard on this new Maker design. You should always try to improve after all. Anyway, let's talk about the palettes in the Maker now. So, if you're new here, you might wonder what exactly a palette is. Well, you see all of these buttons down here? They contain everything that you can fill your game world with. Buildings, items, NPCs, all that good stuff. We call them palettes because we consider these game worlds empty canvases that you fill in, and that way these menus are the paint that you color your world with. Okay, so let's go over what's in each palette. Honestly, this hasn't changed much from how it used to be. So for those of you who have been Adventure Box users for a while, don't worry, the change isn't that dramatic. The placement of them has changed a little bit, as you can see. Not only are they down here now, the order is also a little bit different, but the contents of each palette are the same as before. Let's start over here. This is the Blox Palette. This is where the different blocks are. Oh man, who would have thought? So the blocks are what you build things with. Wow, any more stunning insights, lady? You're on a roll today. Do you want to build a grand castle? A cave? Or a lake full of lava? Or a castle made out of lava inside of a cave? Here's where you find the material for that. Selecting anything from the different palettes is super easy. Just click on the thumbnail of what you want to place out in your world. And there you go. Oh, and did you notice these thumbnails over here? These are quick selection slots. When you select anything from any of the palettes, they'll appear over here. So if there's anything you want to place out again, you can just click the corresponding thumbnail over here. So here, when you right-click a block, you get all of the palette options. The next one is items. This palette contains stuff to decorate your world with. Items that serve as furniture, items that can be picked up, buttons to press, doors and windows to open, containers to put stuff in, and light sources to light up your world with. Behold, my tastes in room decor. If it's good or bad is in the eye of the beholder, I guess. Anyway, when you right-click on an item, the contents depend a little bit on the type of item. The contents all items have in this menu are the following: deleting the item, changing its visibility, changing its name, turning it into a quest trigger, turning it into an event trigger, and changing its rotation. Light sources, containers, switches, doors, and windows can also be locked, preventing the person playing your game from affecting them. Doors and windows can be opened and closed, buttons can be pressed, light sources can be turned on and off, and containers can have their contents configured. Fill a barrel with food, or a bookshelf with flowers, or toys if you're feeling nostalgic. Or was it just me that hid that kind of stuff in my wardrobe instead of putting it away properly? Anyway, this icon here is the Pickups palette. Here you can find different guns, ammo, and power-ups. These can now be used in both open world and battlefield games. So if you want to create a shooter game without a time limit, or you just want to use power-ups for some interesting level design in an exploration game, you can. Right-clicking them brings up the standard contents for items, the ones I mentioned before. And this music note is where you can find sounds. There are 3 types of sound. The sound effects, which are, well, sound effects. There's birdsong, clocks, death tolls, screams. They only play once as standard, but you can change that if you wish, but I'll get to that. Then there's atmospheres, which are more akin to background noise or ambience. So, the murmur of a crowd, a rushing river, a blacksmith hammering away at some metal, and stuff like that. Finally, there's music, which is just music, obviously. Actually, when you place the sounds out, keep in mind that they'll be louder the closer to the source the player is, so if a player is far away, the sound won't be as strong, but the volume can also be toggled. In the right-click circular menu, you can delete them and turn them into event triggers, like the other items we talked about so far. But you can also adjust the volume of the sound. turn on and off the audio looping, and turn on and off autoplay. This icon is where you'll find content shops. Did you know that you can upload your own voxel models to Adventure Box? Or even a 2D image if you don't have voxel editing software? If you upload a sword or a shield, it will end up in the shops you placed out, and players who visit your world can buy them in these shops, and you'll make adventure bucks. When you right-click a shop, you get the standard item content options, the ones I talked about before. This swirly icon is where you find portals. With portals, you can connect your game to any other game on Adventure Box, connect it to one of your own, or just another game that you like. Just place out a portal, type in the name of the game you want to connect your game world to, and click the thumbnail. And it's done. If you want to disconnect the portal, by the way, just click the thumbnail again. Of course, you don't have to connect to a world if you don't want to. You can just have them as decoration if you want. The right-click menu brings up most of the standard item menu contents I mentioned before, except you can't start a quest with a portal. You can also change what world the portal should connect to. And if the portal is connected to a world, jump through the portal over to the connected world. The thumbnail over here is the Creatures palette. This is where you can create new creatures, or see any creatures you've already made. We have a video on how to make creatures as well, by the way. It still works the way it used to, but some of the UI is looking just a little bit different. Check out our Making Creatures video to find out more. Right-clicking on creature will bring up all the standard item options, but you can also manage their inventory, give them dialogue, which I've also made a video about, and change their behavior. The button over here opens the Structures palette. Here you can find pre-made houses, trees, and other types of buildings to place out. And since they're made of blocks, this also means that they can be modified as you please. So you don't like the color of this house? Replace the blocks on it. Do you want to add an extension to a house or change its shape? Feel free to do so. Do you want a red tree instead of a green one with a trunk made out of metal? Done! Structures are made of blocks, so the right-clicking a block on a structure will show the palette options in the circular menu. This book over here is the quest list. Here you can see all of the quests and event triggers that you have created in your world. If you want to know more about those, I have a tutorial on how to make event triggers, and a quest creation tutorial is also on its way. This map icon over here is the locations list. Here you can see the different location flags you placed out in your world. And what are location flags, you say? You can use them to mark places of interest in your worlds. And in Battlefield games, they act as spawn points, meaning that a player who enters the game will spawn at a randomly selected location flag. And that brings us to this final button down here, this flag icon. Click here to place out a new location flag. Once the flag is placed out, give the location a name. And there we go. By the way, right-clicking a location flag gives you the standard item content options, the ones I've talked about. Right, that's just about everything for now. So let's say that you've made a game and you're happy with how it turned out and you want others to play it. Then it's time to publish your game. Remember this huge green button on the game info page that I said I was gonna talk about later last time? Well, later is now. When you want to publish your game, just press this button. Before it's published, you can edit the game's name and description, as well as decide what type of game it is. Is it an open world game or a Battlefield game? Do note that if you choose the latter, there will be a timer and scoreboard when you play. Then, simply click Publish. Now you can share the game with your friends and invite them to play it. The game will also appear in your social feed on Adventure Box. Click any of the buttons to share it to your social media, or copy the link and send it to people. Now visitors can also use the QR scanner on their phones to open the game in their phone browsers. But wait a minute, what if you change your mind and you want to unpublish the game again for some reason? Easy, see this status over here? If you want to unpublish a game, just click on Published here. And now the game is hidden from the public once again. Okay, that's that for now. For further questions, please leave a comment on this video, send us an email or join our Discord server. The link is in the description below. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time!